Hello, and welcome to the Split SMP, where today we've got a presidential debate. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. This is a Minecraft server. Why would we have a presidential debate? And don't question that. I have here my vote McCrea pies. Let's get into the debate hall and stand at the right hand of the president. Or of the future president.
I fear tonight may not be what we think. I think there may be something that will happen. I think something will be blown up, or I mean, God knows.
If they win this, they'll have power over the entire server.
I have a very bad feeling about this, boys.
10 feet ahead of you, catch me is something you'll never do. I turn around and I level you, no motivation is needed. Look, I put myself on the pedestal, this is incredible. This how it feels at the top, got no incentive to stop. Payment is only the rock, so I take water and soda, then hit them with lyrics and mix them up all in the pot. While in the jungle, they want me tame, keep them alive but without a brain. They want me broke with a lot of pain, smiling but he in a lot of pain. Till he tap out like a lot of names. You gotta give me what's owed, taking control. No, this is not a game, no. Move the work and I'm out of here. Murder the tune, it's a body here. Reviving the beat and it's right back to sleeping. I use the technique that it got me here. Whoa. I give it all that I got.
Welcome everyone.
Presidential
to the
debate.
First ever Split SMP. Exactly. And today we'll be seeing who wants to become the peace.
Well, I feel like they both
Today
want to become the president.
Is
Yeah, I'm pretty keen, to be honest.
so, in case none of the audience know who these people are, let's just get them to introduce themselves. So, James, you can go first. Introduce yourself.
My name is James McCrea, and I, following this debate, will be elected president of the peaceful side of the Split SMP.
And Mr. The Juice.
Hi, wait, did I mute? I did, okay. Hi, I'm Colin. I'm better than James. You should vote me for president. It's gonna make content a lot better. And also, we're bouncing away the competition.
All right. Well, that's two very strong introductions from what I think are two very strong candidates. Why are you taller? There we go. I have a couple questions, and I believe Kraft does as well. So we'll alternate. Couple rules. Number one, please keep your arms and legs inside the debate at all times. Rule number two, presidential candidates and members of their party are to remain in their designated spots during the debate unless otherwise requested for activities or other reasons. So presidents are to remain at their podiums, and members of the presidential parties are to remain on either side of
And
the glass.
rule 3.
Thank you.
Don't.
I didn't quite catch that, but I assume it was very important. Rule 4, have fun. All right.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Okay. First question. If elected, what is the number one thing you will do for the shopping district and the server as a whole? James, as the person on the left, you may go first.
Person on the left in more than one sense, I suppose. But my main priority for my presidency of the Split SMP Fetal side is to vastly improve the shopping area, and not just that, but I want the shopping area to be the capital city of the Fetal side, and I want to see huge economic growth. And as we all know, the way to improve the server is to improve its capital, and that is what I intend to do. You can't run a good side of a server without a good capital. If the capital gets better, the rest of the server gets better. And the problem is, what we are seeing with my opponent is someone who neglects the peaceful side's capital and goes off on their own, whereas I've built my campaign HQ as a symbol of how dedicated I am, right over there. And that is how dedicated I am to this great city, or soon to be city.
All right, the Juice, do you have a counterpoint?
Yeah, you see, I'm very wealthy, and I will give back to the community more than my opponent over here will. Also, where's your proof that I just go out and don't help with the catch-up?
Well, he talks of proof. I want to know what his proof is that he will give back to the community. As of so far, he has hoarded all his wealth to himself and isolated himself from the rest of the community. Whereas I've been very in touch with the rest of the community, and that is what I want to. That is what I want to enhance with my presidency.
Can I ask Mr. Shaman here how much stuff I've given him?
I do just want to say, I didn't ask for that. You just kind of put it on top of me while I was AFK. So
Exactly.
it was kind of an inconvenience.
Merry Christmas.
So what you're saying is he didn't ask for consent? Is that what you're saying?
He throws his wealth at me and doesn't ask for consent to give it to me.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, it's not looking good for my opponent, I've got to say.
Brad, if you have another question. Oh, okay. He can't hear us. All right, never mind.
Might have something to do with the fact that he has actually left the Discord call.
Maybe.
He's just sort of an empty husk of a man, sort of stuck there. Yeah. Never mind.
What's happening?
Are you just encasing him, Kroby?
Yes. Anyway,
Well, I pledge to get crime off our streets. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, go on.
what do you believe is the #1 critical flaw with your opponent? Since James went first last time, the Juice, this is your chance.
I think my #1 critical flaw about my opponent is that he's British. I mean, just look at him. Like, look at how big his
Racism.
ears are. Hang on, no. Look at how big his ears are, bro. But also that he doesn't have the funds to spread.
That is true. James, is it not a fact that you are one of the most economically deprived members of the server?
Well, I have a stack of diamond blocks in my ender chest, and I imagine we'll have more
Only
as
a
soon as we
stack?
begin to. The thing is, what I'd say is the biggest flaw with my opponent
Is it that
Is
I have
that
no
he was
political
actually-
experience?
is that he used to be an anarchist, and he remains to this day someone who has anarchist ways. And the trouble is, I want to keep the split of Split SMP. I want to keep the anarchists on one side, and I want to keep the peace on the other.
Is that
Kroby,
discrimination?
I will be a peace.
Or
Kroby, I will be a
whatever it is.
peaceful leader. I will be a peaceful leader, but we cannot have a former anarchist in charge of our peaceful side.
I believe in second chances. I believe in second chances. Clearly, my opponent does not.
All right, that brings us to our next question. Well, it's kind of two questions in one. What do you believe is the primary issue with the server's economy, and what can you do to make the economy better? Specifically, not in the sense that we're just going to improve it, but what genuine presidential decisions would you make that would improve such conditions? Going with the pattern of alternating, James, you may start.
I think the biggest problem is the divide between the rich and the poor on this server, because there are a large amount of people who, I mean, we've even had people who've just joined, but there's a large amount of people who get by with not very much. But there's also a small group of people like my opponent, who like to keep themselves very rich, but keep their riches to themselves. Now let me tell you, I am not one of those people. As he rightly pointed out, I am one of the many, not one of the rich few. And what I intend to do is redistribution of the rich to the poor. And what I think we ought to do, the only way we can do that is by building up a strong community, and we can't do that with isolationism. What we need to do is bring people together with one strong capital here in the shopping area, and that is what I pledge to do, to bring the server together.
Alright, so real quick, just as a counter-argument to my opponent here's statement about not giving back, giving Neon a lot of stuff. I've even given Kroby a lot of stuff, gave Max a bunch of stuff, gave Clutch a bunch of stuff, gave Shed a bunch of stuff. I give Raph a bunch of stuff. He's not here though.
So why is there still such a huge gap between the rich and the poor, if you're so generous?
Penguin.
I think it's clear that his strategy is not working, and I think it's time to try something new. If you'll agree with me.
I don't know, man. I think the strategy's working greatly. Give from the give and give to the poor.
All right, right.
Penguin,
moving
how
on.
long have you been active on the server?
Me, I've been active since day one.
No, Penguin. How long has?
Oh,
how long
Penguin. Penguin's been active since he's been active for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I was with him on day one.
You'd say that maybe given he's been on here since the beginning and he still has 0 diamonds, maybe your strategy of redistribution isn't working too well.
I mean,
If I may just add to my fantastic secretary's point, if I could just add to that, the trouble is, what he wants to do is this Robin Hood approach of handouts from the rich to the poor, and that is not what I want to do. What I want to do is I want to allow the poor to get rich for themselves, because the only way we can build a strong society is if everyone can work for themselves with the help of each other. That is what I pledge to do, not these silly temporary solution handouts. What I want to do is give people the means and the way to become rich for themselves. And the thing is, I suppose my final statement is I will boost capitalism.
If I may just elaborate on what you said there. So your strategy of redistribution of wealth is one of the key points in Karl Marx's Communist Manifesto.
It's not so much redistribution at all. The thing is, when people say we need to close the gap between the rich and the poor, people always think that means making the rich less rich to be in line with the poor. That's not true. I want to make the poor more rich so that everyone can live like the few does. The many should be part of the few, creating a full society full of people who can. Well, I'll tell you the way that isn't the way to do it. The way to not do it is his strategy of Robin Hood style redistribution of wealth, because it is a temporary solution and it will not work. My strategy is to give people economic opportunities to grow for themselves, and the only way we can do that is with a strong shopping area. And that brings me back to my main point, a strong shopping area where everyone can sell, everyone can buy, and we can create a strong economy that works for everyone.
So my opponent over here, strong believer of capitalism. But what about when the resources run dry? Also, why is there obsidian?
It's an infinite world. The resources will never run dry.
I mean, it isn't infinite.
There is a world border.
Yes, it is.
There is a world border.
It can be expanded.
Where's the world border, Neil? Yeah, the world border, it's an infinite world.
It
The world
goes
border
1
can be
million in all
expanded.
directions.
His logic is so flawed.
It's not an infinite world. I visited the border.
I can expand the border if we run low on resources.
Well then. Nah. Socialism is the way to go. It still has some of the capitalism, like the shops and stuff, but taxes, and crippling debt, and bank loans. These are the things you need for a strong economic uprising.
There will be no taxes. That's what who wants that, right? Who's going to look at that and who's going to go, oh yeah, I desperately want taxes and bank loans. I mean, who's seriously going to vote for this guy now he's said that? I promise no taxes. Nobody will have to get a loan from the bank. Everyone will be able to fund themselves in our strong community.
I mean, Penguin has disproven your point there. He's been on the server since day one. He is not one of the most wealthy on the server. He has had a
That's
chance
because I'm
to
not
do it
president.
himself. Well,
If I may, a very strong, unexpected point there from a James McCrea. Of no taxes. So, with that being said, how do you plan on paying for this strong capital that you've been driving?
guys, there is an Endermite. There is an imposter here. Can you get him off the stage, please?
Where's it gone? Oh god.
It's right in front of me! I have all of your stuff, Leo.
Kroby is a murderer.
I unfortunately am. That's awkward. Alright,
So
thank
what
you.
you're asking me in the mindset of what I would do if I was doing his strategy, because his strategy doesn't work, as I've proven myself. His idea of giving stuff out and redistribution, as you say, it doesn't work because the money will eventually run out. It is limited. But the problem is, with my strategy, it's so much better because we will give everyone the means to create their own shop and do their own work and work for themselves, and that is the only way our society can be strong.
If
And I
may
have to
ask,
say-
what exactly is that means?
The only way we can do it is with a strong shopping area, and that is, can I just say, my main policy. People don't make shops when they're just given money freely. Then you can just get a lazy, weak society. And I have to say, I think people are going to go for a strong leader for a strong society, rather than a weak leader with weak ideas.
Alright. That does bring me to my final question, which is, what are the vice president's ideas to improve the server? We've heard a lot from the presidential candidates, but the most crucial part about a presidential campaign is the other members of the campaign. The president is never alone, so I want to know, what are the vice president's plans for the server?
Podium.
Mr. Neon, if you'd like to go first.
Alright. Well, one of the things that I have seen as something that needs to be fixed is the infrastructure of the server. I feel like the Nether Hub, it was a project that was started and waned to a halt, and I feel that with hard work and dedication we can get that built. The resources are there, we just haven't gone, we just for some reason haven't built it, and with the McCrea campaign we will build that, as well as fill in the trench created on the peaceful side from some random bombing that we don't know what happened, but that trench has been a scar on the peaceful side for a long time. And I believe it is
They like
time,
the juice.
I believe that it's time with the McCrea campaign to cover that up and start fresh.
That's a strong vice president. That's my vice president.
It appears mine is left.
A weak structure of their weak campaign. I've got to say.
That's a bit awkward.
Where
That's
is
a
it?
bit
Gotta be back.
Where is
Oh, he'll be back.
Did you guys hear that?
a vice president?